cell phones have become a dependent means of communicating for some individuals all across the world. This phone is my phone. I use it to communicate back and forth through emails with my professors, and I also use it to communicate with my business clients. The capacity to stay in contact with family, business partners, and access emails are just a few of the benefits of using a cell phone to communicate. The present propelled cell phones are fit for getting and sending calls, putting away information, taking pictures, and they can even be utilized as walkie-talkies. Individuals can converse to a cell phone by instant messaging, voice calls, video calls, such as FaceTime for example, and most commonly, social media. Although communicating through cell phones can have its disadvantages, it can also likewise have its issues or its disadvantages. Internet-based life or social media can diminish eye-to-eye correspondence, making individuals solitary, which frequently can ruin connections, whether that be with a business partner or a friend. Now let's discuss some advantages of communicating through a cell phone. As cell phones have improved and become easy to utilize, the significance of them has also expanded. Cell phones are the ideal method in today's world to remain associated with others and let others know that we are doing okay by sending a text such as "How are you?" or "How was your day?" In case of a crisis, cell phones can also be used to communicate with first responders in the case of an emergency, and also emergency relief organizations such as Red Cross, which can potentially spare lives. The advantages of cell phones go well beyond home well-being. Current phones are fit for web access, sending and accepting photographic messages, and some phones are even equipped with GPS innovations. These GPS innovations consider use in many accesses around the globe and permitting the phone to be found in the case of misfortune or crisis. iPhones have an app that is instilled in them that is called Find My iPhone. As long as your phone's location is on, and say you misplaced or lost your phone, your phone can be easily tracked down to its exact location. Cell phones make our lives more straightforward because of the settlement and steadfast quality, and making communication a lot faster. As a parent, you can screen your child fundamentally and more straightforwardly with the use of a cell phone. Regardless of how expensive they may be, having a sense of relief that your child is okay and being able to contact them in an emergency or just checking up on them is incredibly important. As an adolescent, you can easily connect with friends, make hangout plans, and get reliable information at the tap of a finger. According to ImportantStreetDirectory.com, cell phones have become almost a status symbol in addition to the convenience and security that they provide. It helps in snappier communication. Also, according to Chron.com, today there are almost as many cell phones on the earth as there are people. In addition to its advantages, let's discuss its disadvantages. With most types of communication, an issue or negative effect is constantly existent. A cell phone can turn into a screen people keep their eyes glued to consistently, which makes them unequipped for conversing the most effectively with loved ones, for example. They do, however, help some shy people increase their social interactions. No measure of content is ever going to replace really meeting, talking, sharing, and holding a conversation face to face. Some applications, like maps, are making individuals unconscious or unaware of their own urban areas, which can potentially be dangerous in the event of predators or even phone hackers. Why recollect areas when Google Maps can get you there bit by bit or piece by piece? Or on the other hand, why remember anything longer than you need to when you can just look it up on Google? Fast, let me know your friend's phone number. What about your grandparents? Your closest companion or accomplices? Do you by any chance try to recollect or even think about it? Innovations such as cell phones can likewise make us more idiotic as well. Once more, the odd time isn't an issue. It is in fact because of apathy, individuals permit innovation to assume control over obligations that their brain or cerebellum ought to do. We often let our phones create our messages or our phrases for us instead of trying to create them our own self. This is seen through predictive text when you were typing a message, such as an iMessage, for example, and trying to send a message, and as you type a word, a new word that can flow with the sentence you're creating pops up, allowing your phone to create your sentences for you instead of you doing it yourself. Same goes for human communication and connection. This is likewise something to be said about being constantly accessible. Having a phone constantly out near you or constantly at the reach of your hand can make it extremely distracting and difficult to do something like schoolwork, for example. Not only has the influx of social media been decreasing the quality of interactions, but it has also drastically changed the amount of relationships that people have in person. Individuals really need time to miss each other. Say something occurs during the day. You demonstrate the demonstration of holding on or keeping it to yourself to tell your companion or accomplice or even your friend later on really helps you build a sense of association between each other. It gives you something to bond over and relate to. Not being able to do this can lead to a loss of feelings for one another or a disconnection, which can be a major downfall in a relationship. Another disadvantage is the mistake of assuming one's message. A while ago, my friend messaged me asking me if I could watch a Netflix movie with her later tonight over FaceTime. I simply answered, "I cannot." That's all I said, and she assumed that I just didn't want to talk to her, when in reality, I was busy doing schoolwork. Encoding and decoding a message that has been sent to you or that you have sent with little to few words can be extremely frustrating and difficult to comprehend. According to Rampages.us, it has been proven that 93% of communication is nonverbal, and without these cues that people use to communicate in person, people will not be able to properly understand what someone is trying to say to them. Individuals can't do that in the event that they send a text to the next individual of an in-depth conversation, 50 words or less. I know apps like Twitter have a character limit, which prevents us from getting what we want to say in a full way. It is little subtleties like this in which innovation, such as cell phones, denies people of, being human. Yet that is simply because those people that are being referred to let it happen. We often don't let ourselves, why we could wait to contact someone in person, but we think it's faster just to communicate through a text message. People can likewise be seen going out with a group of people and be constantly focused on their phones, whether that's playing a game or going on an app, just trading a couple words with each other. In the end, communicating through cell phones is one of the most significant approaches to trade discussion. They permit people to converse in a hurry by sending text, having calls, and connections through social-based networking. Albeit, cell phones make it a lot simpler to communicate with others, it can also leave a negative effect on the cultural world that rotates around it. They are proficient in conveying through conversations, strategic plans, but also less efficient in allowing one to fully comprehend or have close-knit relations to what someone is saying. At last, communicating through a cell phone can tackle numerous issues and hold most of its data and associations readily available, but it can also have its fallacies as well. Thank you.